This film is an unauthorized exploration into the life of Kershnik Kyrie Ball, known by his stage name of Takeoff. The perspectives presented in this film are independently gathered and do not represent the official views or endorsements of Takeoff, Quality Control Music, Motown Records, his estate, or any associated parties.
As soon as I met the Migos, I gave them the jury off my neck because the people in the studio, the Young Thugs, the Scooter, it was a whole bunch of people in the studio. So when I bring in some more artists, it's like they weren't always like receptive at first. The first day they seen the Migos. When the Migos like leave out the room, they kind of like, they got all kinds of to say. I get so mad, I don't even say nothing. I take 2 chains off my neck, get one to Takeoff, one to Quavo, because they talking about their jury, they got so much negative to say.
For the year of 2022, it was announced that the Migos were split up. Quavo and his nephew Takeoff keeping their bond together and making music together, and Offset on his own. Now, according to the rumors, it was said that Offset had slept with Quavo's at the time girlfriend, Sweetie. During interviews, Quavo would not explain why, but he would always mention loyalty, and he said Offset didn't have loyalty to the group.
I don't know you a can of paint. I don't know how me and my brother rock. You trying to clear your face. This your 5th interview. You done did about my brother. You ain't think about his mama. You ain't think about the family. We ain't said nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing but you.
Because I thought these people that were arguing was just playing from, like I said, the energy that was in the room before. Everybody was around the table playing the game of dice. So I thought it was just like, you know, some friendly banter.
But that argument or that arguing was kind of your first sign that something was going on.
Yeah, because Quavo, he was upset. So I noticed that something was wrong whenever I noticed that he was really upset and he was finna leave.
While the Migos were in town, they were out and about throughout the city of Houston. One of their first stops was to visit TV Johnny to look at some jewelry. According to the people on the scene, he was quiet, to himself, and out the way. Takeoff was the coolest, quietest guy in the room the whole time. He wasn't saying a word, just chilling in the cut. Born June 18, 1994, Kershnik Kyrie Ball was born to his parents, Ms. Davenport and Kenneth Ball. His mother, who was a hairstylist, met his father while at work. Takeoff's father left his family when he was very young, so he was primarily raised by his mother. When he was in the 7th grade, he started to develop beats and rhythms for fun. Soon he began performing in musical gatherings and at random school events. Quavo and Offset were close in school. They were not family members, even though it was reported they were cousins. The only family members is Quavo and Takeoff. Now, during a Digi of Vlad interview, Quavo revealed that the pair were family. Quavo is Takeoff's uncle, even though they are only 3 years apart. Quavo and Takeoff's mother are brother and sister. While Takeoff was in middle school, Quavo in high school, Quavo moved in with his sister from Athens, Georgia to Gwinnett County. They lived in the same household since then. Quavo says Takeoff is like a little brother to him. In 2008, Takeoff was approached by his uncle, who was impressed by his talent. They formed a hip-hop trio called the Polo Club. Shortly, the group of Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff, they decided to change the group's name because they felt like it was a little too generic. They changed the name to Migos, a play on the phrase Three Amigos. Quavo being the oldest out of the three, he was a starting quarterback at the Landmark High School his senior year. Despite finishing his football season, Quavo dropped out of high school before graduation. Offset, the second member, was first a backup dancer. He was even featured in a music video for Whitney Houston in her 2002 single, What You Looking At. He was 11 years old at the time. Offset from Gwinnett County as well, a suburb to Atlanta. And then the third, you got Takeoff. Takeoff didn't have an early start in music, but he wanted his place in the entertainment world. Now, during an interview, one of his final interviews, Takeoff told the host at Drink Champs that creating music was his only plan. You know how everybody plays sports and did what they did. I never played sports. I always loved music from the jump, so I didn't have a plan B, he recalled. I made myself not have a plan B on purpose so I could just fulfill my plan A, he continued. I know what I was going to do, and I knew it was what I wanted to do, and I did it. God is good. So years later, Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset put that plan A into full motion. Their first mixtape was released titled Jug Season on August 25th of 2021. Right after that, the next year, the trio released their second mixtape, No Label, on June 1st of 2012. The group eventually was found and noticed by Gucci Mane. While on the come up, Gucci Mane heard the song by the Migos entitled Bando and invited the group to the studio for a session.
As soon as I met the Migos, I gave them the jury off my neck because the people in the studio, the Young Thugs, the Scooter, it was a whole bunch of people in the studio. So when I bring in some more artists, it's like they weren't always like receptive at first. The first day they seen the Migos. When the Migos like leave out of the room, they kind of like, they got all kind of to say. I get so mad, I don't even say nothing. I take 2 chains off my neck, get one to take out one to Quavo, because they talking about their jury, they got so much negative to say. To me, all us in here, we all together, we got one pot, you know, and that was my way of letting them know, hey man, ain't nobody in here better than you. The same favor I showed them, I'm gonna show you.
While no official paperwork was done, they created a song called Dennis Rodman a few months before Gucci Mane was incarcerated. In 2013, the Migos released their breakout single Versace. This song was produced by Beethoven and peaked at number 99 on the Billboard Hot 100. Drake even made a remix to the song in which he performed at an iHeartRadio festival. On June 13th, Migos released their mixtape YRN, which featured that lead single Versace. Between their rise to fame and pivotal moments in their journey, their third member Offset had to go to jail for 8 months. According to an interview on The Fader, he says that he had a probation violation for receiving stolen property. Even though Offset was in jail, the group kept Offset's name alive in interviews and press runs. On February 25th, 2014, Migos released their sequel to their second mixtape, No Label. It was called No Label 2. The tape was downloaded over 100,000 times in the first week for its release and was certified gold on mixtape sharing site patpiff.com. On March 14th, 2014, it was revealed by the Migos that their mixtape YRN2 was going to turn into a full-fledged album. In June of 2014, it was revealed that the Migos had signed a deal with 300 Entertainment, which is distributed by Atlantic Records. In June of 2014, their single Fight Night was featured on XXL's 25 Best Songs of 2014 so far. It peaked at number 69 on the Billboard Hot 100. On February 5th of 2015, the Migos released their first debut single from their album, One Time. The album only sold 15,000 copies and came number 3 on the top rap album chart. In September of 2015, the Migos went independent. They left 300 Entertainment as they felt the quality control music could manage their music better and it would increase their revenue stream. Under 300 Entertainment, they made approximately $30,000 to $40,000 per show. However, through quality control, they made upwards of $60,000 per show. On September 17, 2015, the Migos released a new mixtape called Back to the Bando. Although fellow member Offset was still incarcerated, Migos continued to release their music. Their first song off the mixtape was Look at My Dad, which was released on September 6. It was officially released as a single through iTunes on October 30th. The song gained worldwide attention due to the Migos and other celebrities like Odell Beckham Jr. and Cam Newton doing the signature dance called the Dab. On December 4th, 2015, Offset was released from jail. They Can't Stop God's Plan, Offset Free #YRN. Their follow-up mixtape YRN, Young Rich Niggas 2, was released on January 18th. The group would go on to release 3 additional albums, Culture 1, 2, and 3. For the year of 2022, it was announced that the Migos would split up. Quavo and his nephew Takeoff keeping their bond together and making music together, and Offset on his own. Now, according to the rumors, it was said that Offset had slept with Quavo's at the time girlfriend, Sweetie. During interviews, Quavo would not explain why, but he would always mention loyalty, and he said Offset didn't have loyalty to the group. Offset would go on to release 2 solo albums, Father of 4 and Set It Off in 2023. With just Quavo and Takeoff, the pair released a single the same night they were in Houston, Texas on Halloween night. In Houston, it was said that the Migos were connected and protected by the J.Prince family. The family who represents Rap-A-Lot Records and had close ties to Drake. It was rumored that one of the J.Prince boys discovered Drake before anybody knew about him. While the Migos were in town, they were out and about throughout the city of Houston. One of their first stops was to visit TV Johnny to look at some jewelry.
Meanwhile, in Houston, a jeweler is coming forward with new surveillance video from the night Takeoff died. He tells 11 Alive Takeoff, Quavo, and their entourage stopped by his store just hours before that. As our Cody Alcorn reports, the man known as the King of Bling was one of the last people to see the Grammy-nominated artist alive.
This is surveillance video of Takeoff and Quavo, along with their entourage, walking into Houston's Johnny Dang & Company custom jewelry.
We open late for you because that's a convenient that I always take care of them.
Johnny Dang says his spot is always a stop for the group.
Whenever they go to Houston, he just stop by, hanging out, and buy some new stuff.
He says Takeoff and Quavo stopped by to get some jewelry cleaned and to check out a couple new pieces.
He just sat right there on Monday night. Takeoff is the one, he's very, very quiet, so nice. I've been around with them so many times.
Hours later.
Now that same Halloween night, October 31st of 2022, the Migos were in town to promote their new music video and new single and celebrate one of J.Prince's son's birthday, Jazz. Now during the entire night, the duo wore the same clothing, Quavo wearing a red shirt and Takeoff wearing a white shirt. The entourage started off in the 5th Ward section of Houston, making their way to their final destination to the bowling alley located in downtown Houston.
What that is, Jazz? What that is right here? Little something. OG Mike. Hey man, you know what we do, don't never stop. Man, we outside, man. You hear me, man? Take. Oh. Doing it, man.
Yeah, man. We got a little bit straightening going on. You feel me? Yes, sir, nephew. Hey, man, that's how we rock. Put that in the back. Hold on. Got that big old box back there. Hey, man. Got that heavyweight back there. Don't think we playing. Don't think we playing, man. Hey, man. We got a little bit straightening going on. Yeah, the biggest. Uh-huh.
Yo, we sliding through the town, man. Sliding through the town.
How we get down?
Got the birthday boy with me.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, we on the 5th. Yeah, the 5th ward. Like them, I got one for you now. I got a 6-1 coming home.
One person who was close to Quavo and Takeoff, he goes by the name of Willie Brand, he was there as well. While inside the bowling alley, Quavo gambled with other people from the private party from around 1 a.m. to around 2:30 a.m. Takeoff doing the exact opposite. According to the people on the scene, he was quiet, to himself, and out the way. Takeoff was the coolest, quietest guy in the room the whole time. He wasn't saying a word, just chilling in the cut.
Let me block you. Let me put your phone down.
He didn't even know what was going on. He just jumped up, and out of nowhere, he got hit. Now, around 2:40 a.m., the dice game spilled out into the front of the bowling alley, where a small argument started. According to the sources at the scene, there was a total of approximately 34 people standing outside of the bowling alley immediately before the group member Quavo was arguing with 3 other people. Video evidence obtained showed that Quavo and those 2 younger men had been involved in the dice game inside the bowling alley. Affidavit investigation indicated that they were arguing outside because the 2 young men had won money in the game. After an initial physical confrontation between the 2 groups, weapons started to be fired in different directions, which one hit Takeoff. Now, during the actual video, you can hear Quavo saying, "Let me leave before someone gets hurt." I guess this was he was saying to one of the people who started to shoot their weapon. Another inside source revealed their side of the story. They were saying that Quavo overreacted because of that dice game.
Hold on, look. Listen. Check this out. Hold on, listen, man. They know y'all, but they're not gonna be disrespectful like they want it. But they have to be disrespectful even when I'm basketball. Man, I'm kidding about no basketball, bro. You just play basketball. You just saw me play basketball. Y'all niggas just in the gym. Play like that, bro. Don't play like that, bro. Hey, let go. I ain't finna sit there. I'm not cold, there ain't no smoke like that. Hold on, trying to look it off. Take it. Hold on, look, take it. Listen, take it. Hold on, check this out. I can't see it. Listen. They know y'all, but they're not gonna be disrespectful like they want, but they have to be disrespectful even when I'm basketball. I'm kidding about no basketball, bro. Tell me you don't play basketball. You just saw me play basketball. You just in the gym. Play like that, bro. Don't play like that, bro. Hey, let go. I ain't finna sit there and go back and forth, bro. I've been gonna hurt somebody, bro.
Three people were hit during this whole ordeal. Takeoff, a female, and Takeoff's manager. Now, the woman that was hit, she spoke out after the situation went down. She had to stay in the hospital for weeks after. Now, she said everything was normal when they were hanging out, until it wasn't. Now, towards the end of the event around 2:30 a.m., she said she could sense something going wrong. She said that she saw Quavo get upset during a dice game. At first, she thought it was just a friendly banter, but quickly realized that something was about to go down. She says, that's when I knew something was wrong. She said the argument between the people playing dice escalated quickly, and she started to run. That's when shots were fired outside that bowling alley. The lady said she fell to the ground and felt a stinging sensation in the back of her head. She says somehow she made her way down the escalator into a friend's car, and she took her to the hospital. Fortunately for her, she was able to get to the hospital, which was only 12 minutes away at the Memorial Hermann Hospital.
Yeah, it was pretty normal in my opinion. Yeah, I didn't get scared. It wasn't any arguments or anything until the event was actually over. And yeah, that's when I knew something was wrong after the fact, because I thought these people that were arguing was just playing from, like I said, the energy that was in the room before. Everybody was around the table playing a game of dice, so I thought it was just like, you know, some friendly banter.
But that argument or that arguing was kind of your first sign that something was going on.
Yeah, because Quavo, he was upset, so I noticed that something was wrong whenever I noticed that he was really upset and he was finna leave.
A nurse who was nearby said that she heard the shots from her apartment near the bowling alley. The nurse wanted to remain anonymous when given this information. She says that she lived near the bowling alley and she heard the commotion. She says, I lived close by and I heard pow, 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 pow. And it stopped and I went outside. She got up out of her pajamas and went over the balcony to look. The nurse said she saw people running and thought it was an active situation, so she didn't want to go anywhere. But as things settled, she said she heard a scream. She was thinking the scream was from the victim, but then she paid attention and it sounded like a cry of agony. It was not a cry from physical pain. She later learned that cry came from Quavo, another member of the Migos and Takeoff's uncle. He was screaming for an ambulance and looking for help. The nurse said that's when she ran to the trunk of her car and grabbed their equipment to help the injured victim, who later was identified as Takeoff. You can hear my voice in the video yelling, I'm a nurse, no, I'm a nurse, because I wanted to let them know. I was scared, but I had to go. The nurse said when she got there, it was too late for Quavo and Takeoff. His head was all the way up and his eyes were rolled back and fixed, and I saw a pile on his head. She said that she checked Takeoff's pulse numerous of times, but he was already gone. People on social media definitely criticized this lady, saying that she should have performed CPR, but she later explained that wouldn't have helped. Wouldn't have been appropriate, especially with a wound, the nurse said. Never do CPR because you could be circulating the right out the hole. Takeoff was pronounced at the scene.
got my stuff out of my trunk and ran over there, and you can hear my voice in the video. I'm a nurse. No, I'm a nurse. Because I wanted to let them know. So I started saying that from the bottom floor, and they said, take the elevator. So I came up the elevator, and they started pulling on me like to come quickly, and that's when I was like, no, like, leave me alone. Because I was like this too. I was scared, but I had to go. Because if somebody was shot in the leg, in the arm, somewheres where maybe they don't have the tourniquet on right, maybe he finally does collapse and they don't know how to do CPR the correct way. I mean, for minutes, I could at least do that. And not only am I risking that, but legally I am not protected in the state of Texas.
And
for a Good Samaritan Act. So, because I am a nurse. So when I got there, I looked at him. His head was this way and up, and his eyes were rolled back and fixed. And I saw a pile behind his head. I didn't see where the was shot. I've stopped for car accidents before. I never move the patient. Rule number 1, don't touch him. Because if it was something in his neck that could have been taken care of, I don't want to move his neck. And then he's paralyzed, then I'm in trouble, right? No, don't move it.
People on social media are saying, why didn't you do this kind of thing? That would not be appropriate?
That would not be appropriate, especially with a wound. You would, because you would be circulating the right out of the hole. So the first thing to do is to put pressure on the wound. That was too late. I checked his pulse. Plus, it was probably, I heard it 2:30ish or so. I was back calling my daughter. The phone call was at 3:16 in the morning. It's on my phone. 3:16 is when I called her. So I was already back, shook up. And when I called her, it was more like, ah, and she's like, Mom, so are you okay? Slow down, because she's a nurse too. And so I'm calling her, I'm like, oh my God.
Did you know who he was?
No clue. It was my 28-year-old girlfriend that's a nurse that said, do you know who that is? And I'm like, who? No clue. He was a human being. That's it.
Talk a little bit more about what you just said. You said you were scared, but you had to go.
Because I heard somebody crying out for help, and I thought at least I could get him stabilized or just sit there with him until the EMS got there. I was pretty shaken up. I checked his pulse. I checked the carotid pulse. I checked it on here. I checked again.
You knew he was coming.
I can't pronounce some, but I think he was probably. Assumptions are made. This is an assumption on impact, probably. Didn't take long.
And you mentioned you've been doing this almost 30 years. You've never seen this person?
No. I mean, I've handled emergent situations, but I've never I'm not an ER nurse, so no wound kind of thing.
Almost immediately, rumors started to swirl on who actually passed, and once it was confirmed that it was Takeoff, everyone jumped on the rumors saying who was responsible. Some say Quavo was the reason, while others say J.Prince was the reason because the Migos wasn't protected, or simply because J.Prince's entourage was the ones who did it because they were back and forth between the groups. Tons of celebrities reacted to the passing of Takeoff, including his younger brother. He posted on his page, Cardi B also posted on her page, and most importantly, J.Prince Sr., the boss out of Houston, spoke out on an Instagram. He left a long Instagram message about Takeoff. Now, after J.Prince posted his tribute to Takeoff, a lot of people felt disrespected for J.Prince to say anything about Takeoff in such a premature matter in a premature time. Being that they were under the care of the Prince family, they got so much attention about it that they had to do an interview speaking and clearing their name up when it came to Takeoff. Now, Offset wasn't feeling how they were getting publicity and how they went on podcasts to explain about what happened.
Hey, first off, y'all speaking on my real brother. I don't know what y'all got, what the y'all got going on. Y'all niggas speaking on my real brother. How dare one of y'all niggas even speak on me and Tate relationship? I don't know you from a can of paint. Y'all don't know how me and my brother rock. You trying to clear your face. This your 5th interview. You done did about my brother. You ain't think about his mama? You ain't think about the family? We ain't said nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing but you. You man, who y'all think y'all is? John got it. Ain't nobody going for none of that, bro. I ain't studying none of that y'all talking about either. And if you heard something from me, I'ma tell you it's gonna come from me. Call my phone. Y'all going off of he say, she say, then y'all nigga supposed to be this is who y'all supposed to be, and y'all interviews and it out on an interview. Talking about I said this. Call my phone, homie. You call my phone, we'll have a conversation. Then what I'm talking about, all that internet games.
This clown Offset suffering from being a fake motherfucker disease. He want to play victim now, but he was a volunteer when he spoke threats about me and my family name in his mouth about what he gonna do. Why you didn't call me to talk is the twist he want to use. Tell lies in your woman. I don't have time to listen to. Now you want to fake in front of a camera, trying to hide behind Takeoff mother when I've shown nothing but respect for her and family. See, boy, you acting like you a part of a family that don't really you because you're a snake. Now you don't know me from a can of paint. Let me see if I can refresh your memory. Remember we talked when you got whooped in Atlanta? You forgot? Remember when you called up on me and I came to LA and met with you because you was nervous about your wife performing because she had them issues about using the word flute? You forgot? Remember when you and Sauce Walker was beefing and you wanted me to stamp that bullshit? You forgot that too? I can go on, but I think you remember now. See, this is the reason I say make you kin and loyalty make you family, because of like you that have stuck a knife in the back of the ones you call your brother. Explain. Since you're explain to the people the real reason why you weren't on that stage at the Grammys with Quavo, who you call your brother, for the tribute. You ain't man enough to do that because you what we call a Takeoff, Quavo, and the family wasn't for a while before his passing, and still don't you because you a rattlesnake. Quavo been letting you make it because he got a good heart. It's consequences when you fuck with me. I don't have no heart for no snake, and I give you what you ask for. And by the way, I don't think I'm no John Gotti. That ain't who I looked up to. It's no secret who my OG is. The flag you perpetrate with. Homie, you better go do what you do best. Write some rhymes and quit playing gangster. I don't want no trouble. Peace.
Never needed you for no smoke, you the police. All mouth, no proof, just fairy tales. Lest this be the last time we speak on this. Takeoff was laid to rest in Atlanta Friday, November 11th, 2022. His memorial was held at the State Farm Arena, the same arena that the Atlanta Hawks play in, just 30 minutes away from where Takeoff came up. Fans and loved ones gathered for the celebration of life of Takeoff. Tickets to the event were open to Georgia residents, but quickly sold out. Thousands lined up in the rain on a dreary day in Atlanta to pay their respects to the rapper. The event began at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and included scripture readings, reflections, performances, and a eulogy delivered by Pastor Jesse Kermley III of the Family's Community Church. According to an official release from the Migos, Takeoff's family had been a church member for 18 years. Drake, Quavo, Offset, Pierre P. Thomas, the Migos manager Kevin Coach K shared words while Yolanda Adams, Byron Cage, Chloe Bailey, and Justin Bieber performed. It was reported that it was around 21,000 people that attended the arena. Following the funeral service, Takeoff was laid to rest in the Gwinnett Memorial Park in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Takeoff. We salute you, bro. From the radio station looking out the window. Damn. We love you, bro.
Change the culture of music forever. You did that, Tate. You changed that flow. That flow came from Tate, the originator. He the originator of that flow. It changed the music business. Lord, give us the strength. Just give us the strength, the family, everybody. Give us some strength. I don't want to question you, God, but I don't get it. I don't get you sometimes. And I believe in you, Father.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Forever balanced. Whenever he would take his shades off, he had this thing about him that I loved. No matter what was going on around us, he was like always kind of squinting, but like his eyes were wide open.
You always with me. And we did everything together. Since we was kids, you been by my side, looking up at me with them eyes, same eyes you got as my sister, waiting on me to make the next move. Then you followed up right behind me. You always made sure I did it first, so you can do it right with me. You never competed with me. We was always on the same team because you hated playing against me because I always played too hard or too rough. And I can hear mama saying, not too rough, son, because I ain't like to lose. Remember our first dream was to be tag team partners in the WWE. We fell in love with WWE wrestling. We had every
The next month, police announced that they found the man responsible for Takeoff's passing. Patrick Clark, 33, was arrested December of 2022 and was held on a $2 million bond.
At 4, in just the last few hours, Patrick Clark, the man accused of Migos rapper Takeoff, has been indicted by a Harris County grand jury on charges. That's according to the Harris County District Attorney. Now, Clark was arrested for the connection with Takeoff's death. Takeoff was shot and after a private party at a bowling party downtown in November of last year. And just 15 minutes ago, Clark's attorney sending us this statement saying this grand jury indictment is not a surprise and adding, quote, "We would ask people to remember that getting an indictment requires meeting a very, very minimal standard of proof. When we get inside a courtroom and in front of a jury, we expect the jury will come back with a verdict of not guilty," end quote.
That bond would eventually get dropped down to $1 million bond, in which he was released on house arrest. 1 year later in 2023, Clark is no longer required to be on house arrest and is not required to stay within the perimeters of his home. The court released documents stating that Clark is no longer required to wear an ankle monitor, but has a curfew 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. As part of the order, Clark must appear in court each and every time this case is set unless the judge waives his appearance. In order for him to avoid arrest, he must not commit or be involved in any crimes or activities that could lead to his arrest. Clark is prohibited from contacting witnesses, victims, and family members of Takeoff, including J.Prince Jr. As of now, there is no trial date set for Patrick Clark. Now, while this is going on, it's another thing going on with Takeoff's family. Now, it's a $26 million estate that Takeoff left behind. Now, according to FindLaw.com, Takeoff died without a will, and in a state, it means that the laws of the state of Georgia will control who inherits the growing $26 million estate. Under the Georgia law, since Takeoff didn't have kids or a wife, the money and properties will go to his parents. Under Georgia law, they're fighting on who gets the rights over his money, assets including his valuable catalog, and income from record sales. According to thesource.com, the situation has created a larger wedge between the two parents who reportedly already didn't get along. Takeoff was raised primarily by his mother and not his father. But since he didn't have a will, the laws are the laws and the money needs to be split between two parents. Takeoff was only 28 years old when he passed, so I'm sure he didn't think he would need a will at such an early age. But another rapper, Mac Miller, did the opposite. At the age of 21, he created a living trust. When he passed away 5 years later, his parents and trustees handled his estate, real estate holdings, and bank accounts. As of making this video, the estate is not settled, and with these illegal proceedings, it can get very expensive. For example, the musician Prince passed in 2016 without a will. It took years for the court battles and cost the family over $10 million in legal fees to settle his $156 million estate. When it was finished, each member only got $6 million each. If he had a will, they would have received a lot more money. In 2022, the Rocket Foundation was launched in the honor of Takeoff by Quavo and family for programs aimed at community-based solutions to prevent violence. According to the foundation, the first round of funding will be split between 4 organizations: the Community Justice Action Fund, the Hope Hustlers, Live Free, and Offenders Alumni Association.
My bad, I was shooting a video. I'm shooting a video right currently. That shit over with, really. I'm shooting a video for my brother. You know what I'm saying? Daytona. You feel me? Shit on the way. What's happening now? Yes, sir, baby. I love you too.
Huh? Oh, I want this. That's what's so bad.
Any of y'all hate when y'all money in the order, man? I like my just dollar after dollar, like just straight, just, you know what I mean? I don't like that shit out of order, man. I'm an in order. I don't know, it's just me. Crazy. Pay for though, you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing.
Crazy. All I know is
I give all this up to get my you feel me? The people back that ain't here today. Damn. See, money can't even fix problems, health problems. Money don't fix everything. It ain't nothing. Hey, what we doing though, man?
Let's do it, man.
I'll check in with y'all real quick.